Namaste, Jai Bharat. Every society ought to have their own essence of existence, and most often the essence of existence is their culture, history, tradition, and things such. They are not written in books and made available to the people of the society. They inherit it and they live that and they continue living it that, and then through their own lives they transmit their culture to their coming generations. That becomes the identity of a society, and that precisely shall be the identity of any society. Their own history, their language, their culture, etc., and their knowledge tradition. If they have whatever kinds of knowledge tradition one has, whether it is very deep philosophically rooted or a simple oral history kind of knowledge tradition, they are knowledge traditions to them and they are meaningful to them. Now, I have seen two elements in this entire world which had destroyed the identities of societies all over the world. One is communism and two is radical Islam. These are the two elements which cause to destroy the identity of any society wherever they become majority or in authority. Now, any society you see that these things happens to them. They alienate the society from their essence, which becomes their identity. Now, Pakistan is a living example in front of us. They are neither here nor there, and they have this serious identity crisis, which will continue so long as they don't identify themselves with their culture. I wouldn't ask them to follow Bharatiya culture, which they can't, but they can develop a culture, of course, which shall be on the basis of their ancestry, which can they go into distinct directions, as what happens to Buddhism in China or Japan or wherever it went. Buddhism originated from Bharat and it had gone to China and developed into Taoism, Confucianism, etc., which is their own Chinese culture. And you go to Japan, it develops into things like Zen Buddhism, etc., which is essentially Japanese. This is something which should happen to Pakistan if at all they want an identity, but then that wouldn't happen so long as there's a continuous process of alienation that's going on in Pakistan because of their education system that starts with their madrasa system. So long as this is there, Pakistan has got no future. They can't escape this. Now, Saudi Arabia is a place which is looked at as the archetypical authority of Islam, and the holy land of Muslims all over the world is in Saudi. So they used to look at Saudi as a model. Now, Saudi is a model, but that doesn't mean Saudi can forego their tradition, their culture. They have a tradition, they have a culture, and at least of late, though in the beginning these things were not seriously addressed to, but now with changing times they started realizing their own culture, their own tradition, their own history, their own ancestors' ways of life, and where it is possible to synthesize with their modern existence, they are trying to do it. So, in a Saudi day, they were reviving their own a cultural dance kind of thing. It's a dance. It's a cultural dance. It's some name they give. Skips out of my mind that there's a traditional dance which belongs to them. It's not important. It's their culture, and that's what they're constituted of. That is their identity. Now, Pakistan doesn't like it because Pakistan wants to be archetypical Islam in the world. Implicitly, knowingly or unknowingly, they started doing this. They wanted to become the authority of Islam. In the process, they really ceased to be Islamic. They are radical Islams, but radical Islam is not Islam per se. there should be some difference between them, which people should know. I need not to say. You know it very well. So the Saudis dance, they were criticizing and they were burning from within. They don't like it. They would criticize. They would say dancing is against Islam. Maybe dancing is against Islam in your perspective, but then for Saudi, that's a tradition. That is their essence, and that is their identity. They are doing the right thing, going for their identity. Apart from this kind of beliefs, which comes to them from without, from somewhere else. So this process is going on. Once Saudi takes initiative, the whole world should follow for a better tomorrow. No one in the world shall be against anyone's faith system. No one in the world shall be against anyone in the faith system. Everyone in the world can carry on with their own faith system, whichever they want to, whichever they believe is theirs, or they correct, or whatever it is. But no one should also be going against anyone's Sanskriti and culture, because that culture becomes their identity. Muhammad Iqbal, whom Pakistan calls as Allama Iqbal, as a so-called national poet, was wrong in saying that Islam is a unity. Faith system can't be treated as unity. Culture should be treated as unity, and there are many cultures, and they should coexist through an epistemology of coexistence. Look at the Vedic Dharma. Multiple faiths coexist. Multiple practices coexist. No one nullifies the other. No one is against the other. Everyone is right in their own place, and we have a respect to everyone in whichever. That's how Bharat can welcome any faith system. We are already multiple faith system. We have no problem with Islamic faith. We have no problem with Christian faith. We have no problem with the Jewish faith, and the Jews are the best examples and the best supporters of us, because when the whole world was persecuting them, they were most comfortable in Bharat, our nation. We treated them as one of us, because we already, the Sanatanis, the Hindus, already have multiple faith system. And Jewish faith is one such that, as far as we are concerned, and they believe and they pray it, and they have their own synagogues, prayer houses actually. They have their own synagogues, they read their Torah, they speak about their Torah. We respect that. Not only that, we respect, we are curious to know what as far as knowledge is concerned, we are curious to know what kind of things they do, how they practice, how they believe. This is a part of knowledge. That doesn't mean that we become that. We don't become that. So long we become that when we are convinced. That's a different story. That's individual level. But this is how. So Saudi Arabia is performing their traditional dance. Why Pakistan is getting bugged? How can Pakistan say the Saudi should behave like this? Because they are Muslims. Who are first Muslims, my dear? If we talk about Islam, who are the first Muslims? The Arabs are the first Muslims, and you are only converts. You are basically Hindus, and you have lost that Hinduism, and you adopted Islam, and you can neither be that and nor remain here because you already left it. So I shall meet you again with some other thoughts. Till then, it is Namaste, Jai Bharat, and Jai Shri Ram.